Well, hi folks, I'd like to give you a tour of the CZ-P07, formerly known as the CZ-P07 Duty, but since the upgrades, if you can call them upgrades, slight modifications really, it's now just known as the P07. First thing I want to do is just make it safe. That's the spare magazine, so that's getting way out of the way. And of course I'm going to eject the magazine, set it there so you can see it's out of the way. All clear inside, and fire it off. Now we know it's safe. Get that other magazine well out of the way. I've had the firearm for just over a week, and I have put now probably, I would say, not even 100 rounds through it. I think 70, 75 rounds, something like that. First thing I noticed today actually was that this back sight had come a little loose. It was a little bit wiggly. It hadn't actually shifted, but I could actually feel some play in it. So I had to get the little Allen key that is supplied in the box and tighten that up. I've read about this. Apparently this happens quite a bit. Front sight's okay. No problems with the front sight. What I've done with this firearm is that because I kind of grew up with the old 1911 style, in fact my dad had the old Browning 9mm, so it had the conventional safety mechanism. So I opted to remove the decocker and install the normal safety. It just, my body's already programmed and my mind's already programmed to work with that sort of a safety system. So I just feel a lot more at ease with it. I also did observe that the trigger pull has changed just slightly. I just feel that it's a little bit more smooth and crisp. Now a lot of guys say after about 1,000 rounds through here it's going to be pretty much of a muchness and it'll be a nice smooth trigger pull. My first observations with the firearm, before I get there, there's something else I wanted to show you. On this side, there's a problem with my holster. You can see right here, something is busy chafing away at the frame, the polymer frame. So I'm going to have to get a better holster. I think that holster is a bit junky, and I actually looked inside. I cannot for the life of me see anything inside of the holster that would be doing that, but something is definitely working its way in here, which is not pleasant. Things that I like about the firearm: it's light. It's not quite as light as the Glock 19, which I compared it to recently. It's a little heavier, but not uncomfortably so. And like cameras as well, a little bit of weight actually makes the firearm feel more controllable, more stable. So I'm not complaining too much. It still is a perfectly acceptable carry sized weapon. What I'd like to do is just eject all the bullets from the magazine. That's clear. I'll do another safety check right now and insert the magazine. So let's just do that. All clear. And right, so now the magazine is in, and I opted to insert the magazine extension, which enables you to add another 2 rounds, so you can go up to 17. I actually don't carry 17, I carry 15. Maybe 16 would be an option, seeing that in a live combat type situation you're probably firing shots, 2 shots, double taps, and I do tend to count in my head, so 16 seems like a good logical number. Which, yeah, I'll have a look at that. Anyway, my main point is that the real reason that I added the magazine extension is the size of my hands. Now, I don't know who's going to be watching this video. I'm in South Africa. My hands are the size hands of a guy with size 10 shoes. which means in European terms size 43 or 44, pretty much the same for American sizes, I think 44, maybe 45. And I find that that extension in my hand is really a nice, comfortable grip size. So really a great, you can just see the bottom of the magazine protruding under my hand there. It's really a great, very comfortable, very solid feel to the firearm. I did find that the regular magazine was still holdable and not really a problem, but this definitely is far more suited to the size of my hand. What I really like on this this firearm is they've got these roughed up surfaces over here, the knurled surface on the frame, so you can feel when your finger's in a safe position, and it actually gives you a nice bit of a tactile feedback. My finger's well off the trigger, it's on the safe, and I find even after a very short while I'm actually naturally reaching up to there, never mind just along the side of the frame, but right up to there where I can feel it, and my brain says, okay, that's a good place. The safety cannot engage while the hammer is back, but even in the half cock position the safety can engage, and then not much can happen. It blocks the motion of the trigger. When it's fully cocked and the safety is engaged, then once again you have some trigger motion, but it does not engage the hammer. The slide, I find, and especially if you remove the magazine, this becomes evident. You can see that the slide is substantially heavier than the frame. Obviously the slide is steel. Something interesting that I found, I'm going to do a quick strip here for you. No, I don't need to do that, but I do need to do that. Take the corner of the magazine and pop out the slide catch. And there you go, there's the frame and there's the slide. I'll set the slide down there. But what I noticed, which is pretty interesting, and I'll try and hold it in on the camera so you can see this, is that the only place where the slide actually is held and contained is this little section right here. Only there does the slide actually, I'll wait for that to focus in for you if it will. Might not, okay, never mind. Only in that section there does the slide actually, how can I say, it rides inside the frame. This section over here, I'll demonstrate it for you in a minute. This section over here, the slide actually is not held down by the frame. It's only here and then again at the back, which is where the steel insert into the polymer frame section is built. So when you're assembling, you actually don't even need to run it in straight from the front. You can pretty much pop that in there like that and then run the slide back. And the reason I'm showing you this, I'll show you in a minute. Let me just get this back together. Come on. Right. Is that if you look at this gap here, you can see there's a bit of ride. How that affects stability and accuracy, I do not know. Reputedly, the firearm is pretty accurate. And from my 2 visits to the shooting range, I've not really had any accuracy issues. The accuracy issues I have had is more to do with my own technique rather than the firearm itself. So no complaints about that. And I used to own the the CZ75, the CZ75 9mm, and it had pretty much the same amount of play in the slide, between the slide and the frame, and accuracy was really not an issue. So I'm not expecting any repercussions on that. I doubt that I'm ever going to use the Picatinny rail. This, to me, laser sighting is just, it's not an option. For a concealed carry firearm, it's, yeah, no. I've got words for that I'm not going to put on YouTube. I just think that that's not, not at all advisable. The trigger pull is really good. I'll show you the trigger pull. When you take up the slack, now I've got it from the cock position, that's where you first meet the stop. You can feel a gradual increase. There's sort of like a two-phase, very small differences between the amount of resistance from there to there and then there to there, and then the trigger pull is really crisp. There is a little bit of roughness. It's marginal, really marginal, but by all accounts that's also going to go away with a bit of use. The reset, you can see, we'll do that again. Let me just cock it. So, bang. Reset's a little long, and then from the reset back to the resistance, what's that, about 5 millimeters, 6 millimeters of play. And all that said, I did a lot of double tap firing on the range, and accuracy was good, and it didn't feel like I was laboring to get the second shot off. The grips on the frame, on the handle, are really good, and there are grips on the front trigger guard as well. There's some serration there, so that depending on your style of shooting, if you're going to hold the firearm with one finger around the trigger guard, which these days they don't really recommend. I know that the new 2 dogs method seems to be what most guys are training on the range these days. Very comfortable, very controllable, and really not a problem at all. I find that the slide stop, when it engages and you've inserted your new magazine, takes a bit of force. You've got to actually be determined to bring that sucker down. It doesn't just come down easily. On the range especially, I was being extra careful, and I found, ooh, that takes a bit of determination. But with some practice, you can even do it preferably pointed down range, and you're away. Ergonomically, it's really great. Oops, I'm spewing all over the thing. It's really great. I've had absolutely no issues at all. And for the price, I don't think that you can go wrong with the P07. Some guys complain about the lanyard, but I find especially with the long magazine fitted, it's not an issue. This little lanyard loop here, really not an issue. I find it adds a bit of character and charm to the firearm in any case. It is, after all, designed primarily with for carry in the military in mind, and many militaries insist that the firearm is on a lanyard when it's holstered. So thanks for watching my short review, and I'll talk to you soon.